There's one company I was working with, and not recently, in the past few years, where blockchain was nascent and definitely much on the ascendancy, and they were like, "We want to do this using blockchain." And I was like, "Yeah, but why?" Because when you use blockchain, I was like, "Yeah, but also why?" Exactly, because it just adds layers of extra. You can get to the next stage without the blockchain, and if the validation is there, then sure, add those layers into it. But do you actually need that? Because it's just going to make everything else way more complicated at this stage and take longer to unpick if you don't need it. And then it's a similar kind of thing with AI. It's like lots of companies are getting funded if they have an AI aspect into it. But often I'm thinking, yeah, but why is there AI in that product? I don't understand why. I mean, I'm sure it's a nice to have, but I'm like, but why is it in there? Exactly.
It's just an interface or a wrapper over an LLM. And by the way, I'm not anti-wrapper. I think there are ways that wrappers can add value. But what tends to happen is they're trying to solve too many use cases, and then there is so much work involved with that wrapper that you're then not really doing much in addition to what exists. But I sometimes look at products and I'm like, I don't really understand why you've got this AI prompt in here. It's not really saving me any time at all.
No. So they can get funded. Okay, so this podcast is called Aha Moments. I've got 3 questions to ask you, the same questions I ask everyone. First question is, can you think of an aha moment for your clients or your clients' clients, I guess, and how did you find that aha moment for them or yourself, and how did you get them to that moment? So how do you get to that moment where they realize the aha moment as soon as possible?
Yeah, I'm going to be really boring and anonymized about how I talk about a couple of the client that I was speaking to recently. They were struggling with market traction. The thing that really struck me first when I visited the website was just how big and ambitious the positioning of the company was, or rather the problem that they were trying to solve. It was very much kind of transformation based. It was, transform your culture. And it's just like, that's such a big thing that this small early stage tech company is proclaiming to solve, is workplace culture. I don't even know what that means. And I kind of spent a lot of time saying, look, I'm really sorry. I'm just going to ask you really dumb questions, but I really need to understand what any of this means. And we basically got down to transforming. I shouldn't use the word transformation because it's literally what they were promising to their clients, and that was the problem. We're moving away from this transformation message, which is, transform this big thing, down to what is this existing process that you're just helping to make better in some way. It feels less ambitious, but actually it's much more commercial, and it's easier for someone to kind of go, oh, okay, you can make my survey generation as part of my research process a lot easier and quicker and more accurate, rather than transform your research. It's picking one constituent part of the process that hasn't been touched and you're making a lot better. So this was the process that I was going on. And I just remember that they kind of got to the, oh, you're right, this now finally makes sense. There are kind of 2 things in particular that we do that a lot of people get excited about, but our messaging is completely kind of diverged from that. And they felt they had to speak to this kind of higher value of workplace culture that they're transforming. So I think for them, that was probably the aha moment. Once we started getting into what a customer's saying, let's look at transcripts of conversations. When you have your future conversations coming up, here are the questions to ask them. So I think that was kind of the first moment. And then for another,
I think pretty much every single person I've spoken to has said, what are your customers saying? Have their conversations. This is, a perfect use case for AI is those transcripts and bunching them all together. What's the commonalities? What's common themes? Using the exact words that they say, and being open to what you find out as well.
100%. I think right now, when we do customer research, I think we look for the obvious things. I want to save time. I want to make more money. I want to bring in more customers. And so that can be the thing you focus on, as opposed to the more emotional layers or some of the social dynamics of why you want to look better versus competitors in a particular way, or when you're thinking about how you can make the life of that target customer better. I think when it comes to aggregating customer research, the only concern I have still with AI is its inability to really pick up on nuance. And you can look at a transcript and someone will articulate a point and say, yeah, I really want to solve this problem, or, yeah, this is really annoying, or this is really frustrating. But it doesn't necessarily capture the I guess, the nuance or the weight of the emotion that they use to actually articulate the point. And that's something I really look out for. So if someone speaks about something in a really passionate way, that's something
transcript doesn't do that.
It just doesn't, and maybe, AI will get to that point in the not too distant future, but I would say it does solve some of the challenges that I have when it comes to, I need to aggregate data across all of these transcripts, and it can pick up some things like, what are the common jobs that they're trying to accomplish on a day-to-day basis? What are those classic obstacles that prevent them from doing that job to a better quality standard or faster? But it doesn't necessarily pick up on whether something has been articulated with a particular weight of emotion that makes me go, okay, this is something that's interesting here, and actually maybe something we want to incorporate in messaging, or something we want to drill down to and even more to understand better. So that's where I would say right now, I think there are limitations to what AI can do, but it's definitely come on leaps and bounds from where we were even 2 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll go into the second aha moment. I know you had another one prepped, but I think one is a great thing to take away, if that's all right with you.